Here we are 2 years later, and we finally have the new and improved Galaxy Tab A11. However, I don't feel like we've got as many upgrades as most people were expecting. If you want to see more videos like this, plus more comparisons, make sure to give a thumbs up and leave a comment down below. It really does help the channel. But let's go ahead and get started. Price for this is about $170, but I'll leave a link down below with current pricing and more information. As far as I know, there's only 2 color options now, gray, and the one shown here is silver. Sounds like there is gonna be a SIM card version, so that's good to see. And it's about the same weight, around 335 grams. The base model, which has 4 gigabytes of RAM, 64 gigabytes of storage. Then you have a version with 8 gigabytes of RAM and 128 gigabytes of storage. It also takes a micro SD card to expand the storage as well. Kind of a surprising move, but probably one of the biggest upgrades for this new tablet is it's going to get 7 years of software updates, just like some of the more expensive Samsung tablets and phones. Kind of surprising really, considering the specs of this tablet, but still really nice to see. Okay, build quality on this looks pretty much identical to the previous Tab A9. You can see one small difference is they changed the look of the speakers to match the other new Samsung tablets. This one also has a headphone jack, just like the previous version as well. One other small difference, they did make the power button a little bit larger. They kind of switched positions of the power and volume buttons as well. Also looks like the silver color is just slightly different. Has a little bit more of a bluish tint to it. As far as size goes, pretty much the same as the previous Tab A9. You'll also notice it's a little bit harder to see the Samsung logo now. You can see it has pretty much the same bezels all the way around as the previous version as well. When setting up, you've got the option of face unlock, pattern, pin, or password. Of course, you have light or dark mode as well. It still has an 8.7-inch TFT LCD display. It now has 90 Hz refresh rate instead of 60. So another small update there. And it's still at 800 by 1340 resolution. I feel like the home screen does look a little more updated with their new style of widgets. You've also got your notifications and quick settings separated, but you can go into the settings and combine those if you want to. Looks like it's pretty much the same pre-installed apps as usual, just a few extras like Netflix and Spotify. You have a handful from Samsung, Google, and Microsoft. Also has Google Discover or Samsung Free left of the home screen. In case you're wondering, you still don't get things like Samsung DeX on this Samsung tablet, but you still have some shortcuts like call and text, link to Windows, and you can add a lot of shortcuts like secure folder, kids, TV remote, and so on. You can also move stuff around in the quick panel settings as well. You also have the Edge panel over on the side, where you can add a shortcut to pretty much any app on the tablet. You also have the taskbar down at the bottom, which can make it a little easier to switch back and forth between apps. You also have the choice of adaptive or standard motion smoothness, depending on if you want 90 Hz refresh rate or 60. If you keep it on adaptive, it'll automatically switch. If you switch it to standard, it'll go down to 60 Hz. Also kind of interesting, when you hold down on the power button, it's actually the power menu, where usually on Samsung devices, they make that go to Gemini or Bixby. Looks like on this one, you just double press the power button to go to the camera, or you can choose other shortcuts there as well. It's using about 21.6 gigabytes of the 128 available, so I would definitely go with this version over the 64 gigabyte version if you can. Kind of interesting, but this one looks like it's on Android 15, One UI 7, where the older Galaxy Tab A9 is on a newer version with One UI 8. I think the screen quality on here is pretty good considering the price. It's not going to be the best out there, but again, pretty similar to the previous Galaxy Tab A9. It's actually using the same MediaTek Helio G99 processor as the previous version, which came out 2 years ago. So that part's a little confusing to me. If you look at the benchmark results, it's going to be almost identical to the previous Galaxy Tab A9, which again is kind of surprising considering this is 2 years newer. You think they would have at least made it a little bit better on performance, but I don't know, maybe that's just me. So not a huge surprise, but gaming on this tablet is going to be very similar to the previous Galaxy Tab A9. It's actually pretty comfortable to hold though because of its smaller size. It's real easy to reach things on the screen. Probably one of the better sizes for a gaming tablet in my opinion. It won't have the best graphics or frame rates, but I feel like it does just good enough that most people are going to be fine to do some light gaming. So I think the performance will be okay for most people. I just wish it had a little bit better performance. It also still has a 5100 milliamp hour battery with 15 watt charging, so again, the same as the previous version. I ran my typical battery drain test at 100% screen brightness and it lasted about 7.5 hours, so surprisingly more than the previous Galaxy Tab A9, even though it has the same battery size. So plenty of power to last a couple days of normal use, even longer once you turn the screen brightness down. I feel like the speakers on here are pretty similar to the previous Galaxy Tab A9. Not bad, I guess, considering the size of this tablet. Here's a quick sample just to give you an idea of how it sounds. One other small upgrade is going to be with the cameras. It still has an 8 megapixel camera on the back like before, but now they went from 2 megapixels on the front up to 5. Front facing camera is still on the short end. It's a pretty simple camera app. You've got portrait, photo, video. Under more, you've got Pro, Panorama, Food, Night, and Hyperlapse. You can shoot up to 1080p resolution for video recording on the front and the back. Definitely not going to be the best or fastest camera out there, but you could probably use this in a pinch. Here's a few quick samples just to give you an idea of what to expect. I would say overall this is a pretty minor update going from the Tab A9 to the A11. Probably the biggest update is going to be the 7 years of software updates, which I could see a lot of people upgrading just for that reason alone. But as far as everything else, pretty much the same as the Galaxy Tab A9, which is kind of disappointing really, considering it's been 2 years since the previous version. I was hoping for at least better performance, but I guess it is what it is. I know I have a lot more comparisons to do with this new tablet, plus a lot of other stuff that I'm working on as well. So make sure to keep an eye out for those upcoming videos. So if you've made it this far into the video, you may want to say thanks by subscribing, and don't forget to give a thumbs up if this video was helpful. This is Brian from Fishbee Productions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.